The South Australian Athletic League's mission statement is to promote athletics as an enjoyable, healthy sport for people of all categories and abilities. Of crucial importance to this objective is the league's handicapping system. In the past, handicappers have been left to work out on their own how best to assign handicaps. The league's new handicapping system is designed to allow for an open, consistent and transparent process for everyone to compete under.
As a new handicapper coming into the sport, it was impressive to see the level of support the system is going to provide to us. As they get used to it, I know that athletes and coaches, with an understanding of what the system can offer, will know that it will be useful and fair in providing a consistent approach for everyone.
The aim is to have a transparent and honest process that rewards athletes who show consistent performances. I'm looking forward to working with the system to give everyone a genuine chance.
Our new and enhanced handicapping system will endeavour to make it fair for every athlete. Every performance will be there for all to see and will quickly fix any discrepancy.
I'm looking forward to the season and operating with the handicap system as it continues to evolve and create benefits for all participants in the sport. Therefore, good luck to everyone and let's have some serious fun competing this year.
The handicapping system for this season will strike the balance that athletes and coaches are looking for. It complements the obvious benefits that technology can bring with the human eye and the interaction that the league community wants.
To start with the basics, a calculation is done every time a runner competes to see what the average speed in metres per second for their run in a race would be. The metres per second is calculated by dividing the distance run by an athlete by the time taken. For example, an Olympic 100 metre athlete who runs the race in 10 seconds has an average speed of 10 metres per second, which is 100 divided by 10. For a 15-second 100 metre runner, the average speed is 6.67 metres per second, 100 divided by 15. In handicap racing, before a metres per second calculation is done, the actual distance that an athlete runs needs to be calculated. And so, for example, a runner in a 400 metre race who has a 50 metre starting handicap will run 400 metres minus 50, which means they'll run 350 metres. If they run that in a 50-second race pace, they'll be running an average of 7 metres per second, which is 350 divided by 50. For every race, there is a target time, which is set by the league and published on the SAAL website. The aim when setting a handicap is to allow every runner who is competing at their best to run as close as possible to this target time. As I said, there is a list of target times set every year and published. When a runner who is new to athletics first enters a race, they are given what is termed a novice handicap. This means the runner will start behind most other competitors. Unless he or she is an exceptionally talented athlete, it is likely that the runner will need to receive a lift in their starting handicap in future races before they become truly competitive. The current list of target times and novice handicaps are listed in the league's rulebook and on the website. Let's use an example of a male runner in a 1600 metre race who has no running history. In their first race, they will start off the novice mark of 100 metres, so they'll end up running 1500 metres. The target time for a 1600 metre race is exactly 4 minutes, which would mean that a runner starting off 100 metre would need to run 6.25 metres per second to run that target time. If the runner can only manage a time of 4 minutes and 50 seconds, having a run at a pace of 5.17 metres per second, the system will then calculate what the handicap should be to run the target time at a future race. The new runner won't be allocated the calculated handicap straight away. Instead, the starting handicap will be progressively lifted to allow the runner to be more competitive over the next few runs. Specifically, a novice runner will have one race from the novice mark and then be incrementally lifted out of that to the target time handicap. For races less than 600 metres, this will happen over 9 further runs, and in races more than 600 metres, this will happen over a further 7 runs. A metre per second calculation is done after each run so that the runner will be eventually placed on a handicap which will allow them to run as close as possible to the target time. Note that for certain races, especially races with higher prize money, limits are set so that handicaps are not pushed out past a certain point. Limits are advertised when the nominations commence. The system looks for the 3 best results over that distance over 3 different time periods. The 3 different time periods used are for the last year, which includes the current season, and the immediate past season. The last 3 years, which includes the current season and the 3 previous full seasons. Your all-time, which is since 2010. A metres per second calculation is made of these times, and the system calculates what starting handicap would be needed to run the target time for any race. Importantly, the age of a runner determines what percentage of each time period is used. For junior and veteran athletes, the more recent results tend to be more important than past results due to the natural improvement or decline in performances. The time period percentages currently used are: for athletes who are 11 to 19 years of age, we take 50% of their 3-year and 50% of their 1-year figure. For athletes who are 20 to 31, we take 20% of their all-time, 50% of their 3-year and 30% of their 1-year figures. For athletes who are 32 to 41, we take 12% of their all-time, 50% of their 3-year and 38% of their 1-year figures. For athletes who are 42 to 51, we take 5% of their all-time, 50% of their 3-year and 45% of their 1-year. And for the veterans, 52 years plus, we use 50% of their 3-year and 50% of their 1-year figures. As there is often a limited number of times a runner can compete over a particular distance, the concept of 1 up and 1 down is also used. This means races over the distance directly above and the distance directly below are also part of that calculation. So for example, when calculating a 400 metre handicap, results from races over 300 and 550 metres are also used. And there are other number factors which also impact the final handicap. A wind speed reading for every race up to 200 metres is used to end up with a wind adjusted time. Before the league purchased the equipment last season in 2019-20, the times were not adjusted for wind. So the aim has been to remove from the system any times which were believed to be overtly affected by the wind. An adjustment for a runner's time is also made depending on the condition of the track. Synthetic tracks are faster than grass tracks, and so a conversion factor is applied to compare between races on different surfaces. Officials at SAAL assess the condition of the various grass tracks as well and provide a rating of fast, standard, slow, dead, and these are noted for each meeting and the times are converted where necessary. As there is often a natural improvement in junior athletes from year to year as they grow, handicaps for under 18 athletes are initially reduced for the first 3 runs each season. And the first run is calculated with the metres per second being increased by 0.3 for boys and 0.2 for girls. After the first 3 runs in each season, these reductions are no longer applied. For a senior or veteran runner who did not run the previous season, the first run is calculated with the metres per second being increased by 0.2, so the handicap is initially reduced. After the first 3 races for the season, this reduction is no longer applied. The system includes a calculation which can alter the metres per second for a runner to compensate for the likelihood of a runner's pace increasing due to running a shorter distance off their relative handicap. Handicap penalties will be applied when a runner wins a race, and the level of handicap adjustment and the amount of time it takes for this penalty to be reduced is dependent upon the level of prize money won. All the details of these parameters are described in the handicapping documents loaded onto the league's TMAP website, and these parameters will be constantly assessed, and if changes are needed, recommendations will be put to the management committee for them to decide. If changes are accepted, the system will be updated at specific stages of the season, and the league's handicappers will have several responsibilities this season. When handicaps are initially calculated, the handicappers will study the marks, look through the data to see if there are any anomalies in that data, and they'll look to address those anomalies. Once the handicaps are released, an important job of the handicappers is to communicate with coaches and athletes alike where necessary. The handicappers will have the ability to apply individual discretion when it is appropriate to do so. Any discretion and the reason for that discretion will be documented and published for everyone to see. Handicappers will also meet with system administrators to discuss the need for any changes to parameters so that anomalies in the system can be fixed for everyone. The handicappers will also have access to former handicappers if and when required to build on their experience and advice. Runners are responsible for providing results outside of SAAL competitions and making sure they are entered into the database. If a runner wants a handicapper to review a handicap, the coach needs to submit a review request form. If the runner is still unhappy once the handicapper has reviewed and replied to that, then a handicap appeals committee can be engaged.
The handicapping system is also used as the basis for our stewarding system. The main aim is to encourage runners to compete regularly and show their best form in the lead up to a major race. If a runner demonstrates an unacceptable level of improvement in a major race, the system indicates that a penalty is necessary. It is therefore important for runners to show their best form in the lead up to races to be eligible to win a major race. A crucial concept of the stewarding system is that of a Z-score. The formula for calculating a Z-score can be found on the handicapping document loaded onto the league's team app website. Z-scores are determined for all runners in all races. Each score is an indication of how much faster or slower an individual's performance is compared to their other performances. If the Z-score is 2 or higher, it means there has been a considerable improvement, and it is considered a red Z-score. Z-scores will be published after every race meeting. For races which are not stewarded, it is a good thing for a runner to have a red Z-score. This shows the runner has improved, and he or she is showing the improved form in the lead up to races before the races which are being stewarded. The management committee will choose which races are stewarded based on prize money or prestige. For races which are stewarded, a red Z-score will mean there has been unacceptable improvement from lead-up races to the major race, and a penalty will result. The handicapping system aims to assist runners who have been not competitive over the previous 1 to 3 year period. However, if a runner improves their form significantly in the current season, compared with past seasons, they must show their improved form in races which are not stewarded. This includes amateur races. Even if there is a handicap penalty for showing their improved form, this will mean they are less likely to be penalised for unacceptable improvement later when the races are stewarded. Therefore, both the handicapping and stewarding parts of the system work together to keep runners competitive while also penalising runners who take advantage of increased handicaps in a major race without showing the necessary form beforehand.
This season, 5 new handicappers will operate alongside the league's new handicapping system and work collaboratively with members to develop a fair and equitable system for all. I look forward to seeing athletes strive to be their best and enjoy the benefits of what athletics can provide. I wish the best for all competitors this season.